What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Encore Godfire Convoy set. So, a few quick things. This, I believe, is going to be a long one. I'm going to try to shorten it down as much as I can. I'm all about time conservation. You have lives, I have a life. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this. So, a few things. I'm definitely not doing transformations on these. If you want to check out some reviews that have to do with transformation, I'm sure you can find them out there with RID Omega Prime or RID Optimus, Ultra Magnus, whatever. There is a review out there of the Encore set, and the way I understand it is that most of these sets were plagued with some pretty bad QC. Fortunately, I have very minor quality control issues with mine. Is it excusable? Maybe not. Does it bother me personally? No, it does not at all. So, like I said, if you want to check out that particular, I want to say it's like there's only one other review of this Encore set out there. If you YouTube it, you can check it out. I can't think of the person's name right now, so forgive me for that. But very informative. A lot of comparisons in that video. Very heated individual, which I get it. Like it sucks whenever you get something so cool and it turns out to flop. That said, I don't think it's a flop. I'm actually super happy they did this, and even with the small errors that mine have, I'm glad I got it. Ultimately, it was worth the purchase for me. I originally had it on pre-order from Amazon Japan, so it would have been cheaper, but I did end up getting this from the Agabus Black Friday sale, circa 2018. So let's get on to it. I'm going to, I guess, take a look at Fire Convoy first. I didn't put any batteries in these, so you're not going to get that those kind of bells and whistles and treatments and such. Which I feel like for Magnus, he's the only one that really and truly needs them because of like all the push button gimmicks all over that guy. So, anyways, that being said, this is the first of two times you're going to see this ridiculous sword. It is completely ridiculous. Here is a I've got it like put up against my elbow, so maybe you can see. I mean, it's so stupid big, and it gets in the way. You can probably like swat flies with this thing if you live in a bayou state. So, anyways, pretty cool nonetheless. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get Magnus out the way. I have some of the Car Brother molds thanks to my OTFCC stuff. The only other comparison I'm going to do in this is with another RID Car Robots mold, courtesy of BotCon 2016, because currently that's the only one of those that I have. So anyways, here's Fire Convoy. Now, I had RID Optimus Prime as a kid, and it was glorious. I really enjoyed those toys. I had two of the three Car Brothers, I know for sure. But when I got back into collecting, I dug these out of storage. Like some tires were missing, they were dried up, they were cracked. I'm sure that's something that might happen with this. I don't know if maybe that's something they decided to fix, but all the tires, it looks like they all say Fire Convoy, which is pretty cool. The other ones probably just said Transformers or something like that. Of course, you get, I want to say, I don't know, but I think that Japanese writing was there on the original. I don't know about the C001, though. That, you got me if it was or if it wasn't. The original, however, did have some Autobot logos here. And something I will make note on, and the other YouTuber did too, is these injection mold parts, like where they pump the plastic in. They're pretty bad. Like, they're definitely not the best. It's an oversight for me because I don't leave anything in vehicle mode anyways, and I feel like this is just the worst part of it. Alongside here, maybe I can focus in on for you, but I mean you can see it. It's, like I said, it's pretty bad, but ultimately something I can live with. He does, however, have this gimmick that if you want to extend upwards, you very much can. It's one of those little play features, and of course, let's bring it back down. If you want to hit this little red button, there's little water squirters, and of course, it can go all over the place. It's got a little bit of give in here. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have that tab down. Also, you got a little tab right there. You push that in. Like I said, one of them was probably going to launch, and it seems like it's always that last one. I don't know if it's meant to do that or what or not, But anyways, and you got to kind of push that back down. But anyways, if you wanted to, you could just launch all those with your fingers if you so choose. Me personally, this is something else the missiles were missing from mine that I had as a kid. Other than that, if you did have electronics in it, you would push this button right here to get woo-woos and some dialogue. And probably some transform, some other stuff like that. And again, C001 on the back. Doesn't really line up all that well. I mean, maybe if you kind of press it together, even still. Not super duper together, I should say. So, other than that, this is something else that's pretty cool. Like, I didn't know that you could slide this up in here like this. Oh goodness. Don't do that. So, I think that's, well, you can't see it. But let's get under here. Anyways, this just kind of goes right in there. And that's cool. I always pegged it on back here. Oh, again, bring her back down. So yeah, there's a little peg hole I always pegged on back there. But that is going to be one of the problems that I have later. So anyways, let's go ahead and get them all apart and put them in his first mode, I guess. Alright, so here we have Convoy transformed, and we have his trailer in the, in the base configuration. So you can see it's a tall boy. It's supposed to be like a repair bay, but you see there's like some weapons and stuff, and I think these fists kind of double as some like missile launchers or something like that from the show. So pretty cool. I mean, I always like that concept of like the trailer doing something more than just being, or you know, again, air quotes, trailer, doing something more than just being a trailer. I've always liked that. As far as this goes, so here's one of my problems. I want to say this is an issue that I had with the original, but these hips, like, I don't feel like they're even. I mean, you can, for the most part, get the A stance that you need, but he always feels kind of like off center, and I'm not, like, maybe that's the clicks feel about the same, but it's really hard to put my finger on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it seems like something's just a little off here, and I don't know what it is. I wish I did, but I just don't. And like, I don't know if there's a rotation joint I'm missing somewhere. I may try to take these legs apart and see what's up, see if it's not something I can fix on my own. Maybe it's something I'm doing with these lower legs wrong. I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe, okay, no, those are also ratcheted, so yeah, there's that. Now, this is something that I think this one does head over heels better than the original. The original had a chrome-plated chest, so all this was chromed out, and it sucked. I didn't like it at all. It chipped away. Granted, all of this is paint now, and that also has the potential to suck. This is still translucent bits. I mean, this whole piece is translucent because that's just part of that part of the tooling. Would have been cool to maybe have the paint on the overside of it, but I feel like that would have been chipped more. This, I don't think it's chipped yet. I've transformed it a few times from both Super Mode and the Omega, or the Combined Mode, I should say. He comes with his little water squirter, pew pew, and if you want to, if you don't want him to have it, it can kind of, well, it doesn't really rest there like it should, but again, we'll get to it shortly. So other than that, you know, there's that, and also he's got a much richer blue helmet, and okay, I didn't know if that was starting to chip off or what. So anyways, the helmet is a nicer blue. I think on the original it was kind of like a metallic flaked blue. I think that's how all the blue paint was. So as far as looks goes, I feel like he definitely came out a better looking piece, in my opinion. Again, aesthetically, I'm sure I'll figure out something with these legs at some point. I mean, I never really keep them in this configuration anyways, but like this I feel is actually like the most iconic look for him outside of the Combined Mode. So there is that. Now, you can do a couple of things that requires you completely dismantling all of this. So, like, you can still just let that sit back there. You can move that back there. But what we're going to do is we're going to need one of these. And that looks so nice. That, I do like the way that looks. I don't think... Okay, yeah, this definitely stays flipped out. And what you can do, and you can do it on both sides, I'm just going to do it to one, but you can give him these ridiculously large shoulder launchers, and he ends up getting like these kind of crazy boxing gloves too, that we will just kind of peg on. We'll just do one, again, for the sake of time. Let me... Got a little too ahead of myself there. All right. So, anyways, and he would have like these super hands, and he would have these missile pods up here. Of course, just doing the one side weighs him down. Oh well, might as well do both sides. Why not? But little peg, little hole. There you go. So, and these I want to say are done up better on this one too. Like this just looks cleaner than the one that I remember having as a kid. So. That's something, you know, again, I had the RID version. Your mileage may vary from my poor memory. But this I do like. As far as paint goes, like as a look, aesthetically, I do not like it at all. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get this guy into the super mode. And we'll wrap up with some final thoughts on just the Convoy. And since I'm at this part, I might as well go ahead and show it off. But you can see two little clips. Then they go into these... slots right there. I just kind of shoot for being as careful as possible, and like I'm closing it down this way, which I may be doing this the wrong way. I usually try to go in front with it and then wrap the whole piece around on his back, but this is just kind of how I went in with it this time. Now for this, I always kind of brought the waist like down, like you can extend it like that if you want to, I guess. I feel like it doesn't, he's not like as sturdy because you can see he's got him a little balancer right there, but if you bring it down where the head would kind of butt up against the underside of that, not only does this piece kind of like line up better with the crotch plate, but I don't know, it just looks cleaner. So there is that. This is supposed to, you see there's this little peg hole up here. This is supposed to sit in here. It just doesn't hold unless you go all the way in with it. So I don't know if maybe like the length of the peg got neutered, or if it's just like the top portion of the hole is wider than it should be. But it just doesn't rest in there the way it should. So you can, one of these holes back here, I think it's this one. Yeah, you can peg that on right there. It gets it out of the way. I don't know if it ever really stayed as a shoulder launcher or not. Like, I really can't remember. And honestly, I got this set to display as Godfire Convoy and not Fire Convoy and God Magnus. So, anyways... Then we'll spread these arms back out a little bit, but yeah. And then there's this issue with this ladder. I think there we go. Like kind of off to the side. That might be a little bit better. It's got its own issues. The ladder does, just like lining up. Like I said, I don't remember that being too much of an issue with the one that I had as a kid, but. Again, I don't know. It's been so long, and that just wants to keep popping off. But we shall prevail. So, anyways, here he is, all armored up. Scoot him back some. Bring his hands up a little bit. There we go. Bring that up just a pinch. All right. So, I think, to be fair, my camera's kind of at this weird angle. So. Alright, so here he is. Like, you're really not going to be able to do a whole much with him. Good lord. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot with him because he does have this intense thing hanging off of his back. So as far as like dynamic poses, you're just not going to get it. You can whoosh him around well enough. That's on you. As far as that, there's his Energon Matrix. Very similar to Lio Convoy, which is something that I do like. So fold that back down. As far as like weapons or attacks or whatever, I remember this folding forward and him launching some missiles with it. Same way we kind of showed off in fire truck mode. So there is that. If you want to do that, that's on you. That's all well and good. That's not for me. I should probably quit pushing on that crotch piece. The legs, they're not on ratchets. They're on hinges, and I think that's the issue that I had with my American set, because it just was not holding up over time. So, again, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot out of him or do a whole lot, but as far as, you know, standing there as a heroic convoy, you can, I guess, for the most part, get away with it. So, there he is. One last time. My little guy, my big guy, I guess, at this point. So, other than that, like, it's just, maybe I was, like, I remember looking at RID thinking, you know, it was a lot more awesome, but it could have just been the imagination I had as a kid playing with the toys. And I whooshed them around, I smashed them up, but I also combined Optimus and Ultra Magnus a whole lot as well. So, other than that, just as a display piece, it's a great looking fire convoy. You can, you know, you can tighten up certain areas that need it, and that is pretty much that. I think these fold forward in the show. I really can't remember. So, all right, now we're gonna get on to Ultra Magnus. If I can straighten all this stuff back out. And so here we have God Magnus, or Ultra Magnus, whatever you want to call him. This, in my opinion, is why you pick the setup. I mean, you can go find a junker RID Prime and you know, rip off whatever parts you need to make him a better piece. For the most part, I think he's pretty easy to disassemble. There's some problem areas like in the main piece that becomes the chest and the head, where there's like, you know, pin through pieces, but ultimately I think it's a fairly simple disassembly. I'd have to look more into it. I'd have to actually do the fixes myself and things like that. But this is what you buy this set for, in my opinion. So he is a lot more cartoon accurate, like right off the bat. All of this right in here was chromed out, and it was like a light blue and silver chrome, and then like also like all of this was just like a lighter shade of blue. Probably, I don't want to say closer to that, but definitely maybe paler, I think is the word I'm looking for. It was a pale blue. Again, he also has rubber tires. If you apply the right pressures, they will all roll. But I'm not rooming this thing around anymore. So, also the chrome bits that you do get are right there with the Autobot logo, and of course the grill. And he has these like machine guns. I don't know if these are supposed to hide away anyway, or if that's just car carriers, what car carriers do. I had this, I think, okay, yeah, and you got to have that head turned just right for this to stay closed nice and flush. Other than that, if you want to, in this mode, I prefer the cannon thing at the back. However, let's see, you can have it to the front. I think we're supposed to rotate these around, and these peg in like not super great, but ultimately like it pegs up straighter from the front than it does from the back, for, you know, for what that's worth. But anyway, so there's that. If you want to, like I said, I've got some of the Car Brothers molds as like Shadow Striker, Roulette, Sunstreaker, and Sideswipe. I just didn't get them out, but you can still put them on there. This function, like this holds well, so you know, there's nothing loose or weak about that. So there's that. All right. Other than that, I mean, that's really all you're going to get from him out of a car carrier mode. Just got to squeeze that bad boy together. So let's get him in his robot mode, talk about some of his bells and whistles. Something I do want to say, though, like regarding transformation, for those who may not want to look up transformation videos, this I find is the best way to reattach this. So I have hands down like that, and then they just kind of slide over this piece. And I always make the mistake of like keeping this piece up. I don't know why I do it. I just do. But that's a piece you're going to want to leave towards the back, or down like that rather. And then this will just kind of come over this real nice. You got a peg in here, hole right there, peg right there. And birds and the bees. Just give them a good squeeze, and then you can adjust this however you want. Also, something missing from this that I did forget to mention is that originally he had a big Autobot logo here, so there's that. I don't think he has a license plate, which is odd enough. Like I was looking for one, but I just couldn't find it. So, oh well, don't get to find out what his Japanese ID number is. All right, so here we have God Magnus in his robot mode now. Unfortunately, there really isn't a whole lot of anywhere for this to go. Like, there's no way to store it. Mostly because he is just 100% backpack. Like, there is a lot of weight back there. And there really isn't in the much way for any heels. So, I mean, he's got, like, his trailer pieces that he can kind of lean back on right there. Maybe you could utilize the same like pegs and holes that you did in vehicle mode. I'm not gonna even try to attempt it. Also, real quick, I just noticed a little bit of a silver paint rub right there. That's a bummer. Anyways, so a couple of things you can do. I don't know how much of this is like officially official or whatever, so again, this is just something where you'll have to bear with me. If you want to, you can, I think, maybe, let's see, let's turn that down. Launch one of those, it's fine. Turn that down. I guess if you wanted him to kind of like sling it on his arm, you could do that. You can have a ridiculous arm cannon. It's not how it's supposed to be. So anyways, he's got a few things here. There's this square pegged piece, and then this one's a round pegged piece. So what you do is, after I get this missile jammed back in, is, let's see, rotate that like that. Alright, so since we already have it in the square position, you plug it, like, and there's you can see that little light blue piece in there right above my finger. That's what would activate this particular like weapon's sound. And I want to say you can maybe peg this in. There we go. Yeah. So there's a hole right there, and that would secure to that peg just to give it a little more stability. And you can probably fold that down, and it would make the kind of Gatling gun chain gun noise, whatever that is. So you can do that. You can flip all of this back. Well, I'll say flip it all. Let's see, move that out, and then we're going for this one. So that one gets flipped up like that. This one gets flipped around like so, and it kind of sort of locks all this stuff in there. Now, as far as like twisting these around, I don't know if you do or you don't. I mean, that's just how I do things. Some people may do them different. He may not have been like that in the show. It's been a long time since I've watched the show. Speaking of the show, you can check it out, the Car Robot show, that is, on Carudo Fan Subs YouTube page. They've got all the subtitled episodes of Car Robots up, and I rather enjoyed it. I think it was their first venture into the fan subs, and it was a pretty cool series to watch. It's just been a long time. So anyways, and then this would make the, I guess, kind of ka-choom cannon sounds. But that's not even his final form, because now you can have them both plugged in, and, well, silly me. You're going to have to rotate them around and then plug them both in this way to where they're both facing. Now, this I did remember him do in the show. So make sure they're nice and snug, and then you rotate these pieces around, and I want to say, I don't know if you still peg these pieces in like this, and then he can kind of sort of emulate like holding onto these as like handles if you want him to. There we go, and there we go. And then this, of course, points forward, and he can barely see his little head, but you can also get like a targeting reticle, which I think is super awesome. Just as like a barrage of attack guns and stuff. I think that's pretty neat, if I'm being honest. So you do get that. It does kind of sort of balance out the weight issue, but it is what it is. So there is no base mode for his trailer, so there's that. But this is kind of like, in my opinion, the best thing that you can get out of robot mode with the weapon. Without the weapon, he's still fine, in my opinion. So real quick, let's see. Let's just get that out of the way because it's a little overbearing, don't you think? And we will straighten him back out. And let's see how he scales next to Fire Convoy. If he stands, I think I may have to just lean him up against the wall. I'm not really on a super level surface, so that may be where some of my other issues, and especially part of Fire Convoy's issues, were coming in at. But there we go. So he is a little bit bigger, a little taller, I should say. Let's scooch him up just a pinch. So try to get them both on the same. Now I guess if you do fully extend that waist piece, they're both about the same height. Granted, this doesn't completely touch the ground unless you fold that up and have it like falling off of the desk. So anyways, which I think in the show Magnus was the older brother, so it makes sense for the older brother to be taller than the younger brother. But there they are together. And like I said, if you want to display them like this, and if you just want to kind of let's see, let's just get this wrapped up. I don't know, man, I like that Gatling gun better. So let me be indecisive for a minute and get all this as cleaned up as possible. Like I said, I think I did have it for a time where it was just, there we go. I used this peg back here. No, I didn't. Maybe. Or maybe I put it on this. Nope. Maybe. I'm going to pause it. Alright, so that's definitely what I did. I had it underslung like that, which kind of takes care of most of it, for the most part anyways. Let's see. Maybe he can kind of... And his hips, they're not ratcheted either. Not that way, at least. So I guess you can kind of lean them forward a little bit. Balance out that back issue. Again, I just don't have the levelest of review areas. So, stuff happens, I guess. But he'll stand. He'll lean back like crazy, and if you give him just the slightest push, he will fall over. It's just, he's a lot of heavy. So maybe I give him the now, you know what? I wonder how A stance would help him. Not very well. Good lord, that looks hideous. Again, product of its time, I guess. So anyways, there they are. So I will get them into the configuration for Omega Prime or Godfire Convoy or whatever you want to call them, and I'll combine them, and then we'll give some final thoughts, and we'll be out of here. Alright, so here we go. Review table is an absolute mess, and let's I guess let's go ahead and combine this fella. So, all right, I think that, yeah, that definitely has to go. So, like, in theory, he was supposed to be able to, like, shake his hand, and, like, this was supposed to plug in and kind of, like, wrap around and maybe act as, like, a secure point, maybe plugged in like that. It doesn't really, though, so, you know, your mileage is going to vary. I don't even think it did on the original toy. Like, again, that's not something I want to really dog this release over. Let's get some light in here, maybe. So, like, you know, I don't want to, like, I don't know. I could just speak from the one that I had as a kid, the one that I remember as a kid, and that's just how I remember it, you know. Granted, quality control, there were issues in the early 2000s, too. So, you know, nothing was perfect. But something I do like is how Magnus's hands become Omega's hands, or Godfire's hands, or whatever you want to call him. So let's get these ridiculous boots on him now, which I think is kind of funny. They did all this, they went through all this just to make sure he could have, like, some feet, but he ain't got no heels. So, you know, it is what it is. So let's see if we can get that in there. Maybe, yeah, there we go. Probably should have had that. I believe that's supposed to, like, I don't think that's supposed to come around like this, is it? We're learning. Yeah, no. Because if it comes around like that, you can't bring that around and wrap that up. Like, and it's like the way this this boot is supposed to, like, hug this entire leg. Couldn't give it a heel. Not even one. Alright. So, let's... Okay, yep. If I messed up on that side, I don't know, maybe... Is this supposed to be forward for robot mode, perhaps? I mean, like, the entire time it's just been in this position then. Like, I don't even know why it rotates at this point. Maybe it was supposed to rotate out for robot mode. It's just something I missed. But it certainly isn't something that you're gonna really see, so, you know, whatever. More power to them for making a useless flap, I guess. But, you know. Alright, so now he's got these big old ridiculous shoes on, which does not help the already kind of wonky hips that this toy has to begin with. But we do need to, and see, there's wherein one of the issues lies. This doesn't stay pegged on, like, at all. So, and it's mostly just this one. So I don't know. Oh, come back down. There we go. I have tried, and there it is. It's already kind of coming loose, but, you know, baby steps, I guess. So, and then this doesn't stay closed all the way, which is kind of a bummer too. I think that's where we're running into some issues with Magnus, because I want to say the hands for super mode were as they needed to be. So, alright, let's bring this up and try to get some working room and make him the most back heaviest thing you've ever seen. So, okay, let's see. Yep, this is just gonna, like, collapse that chest for you, and that's gonna plug in the same way that the chest for Super Mode Fire Convoy did. Then you're gonna pull this out and around, flip these golden ears back. Now, these ears were chromed on the original. I don't know if the head was too, but I do know for sure the ears were definitely chromed. And then you kind of give them a little bit of a lean back. And then I think, okay, yeah, that's already down as far as it's going to go. And talking about stability, this right now isn't awful. it could maybe use a little bit of work, but as it stands, it does so nicely. I think I just loosened this up, but it's okay. It's good. You can have him be hands by his sides, hands in pockets. Don't touch anything. You want to do that. This adds a significant amount of weight to the legs, and as you can see, not the tightest knee swivels there, or swivels at the knees, I should say. Again, you really got to squeeze these bits when you're moving them around, and you can kind of get these ratchets to where they're just right in the middle, but if you go too far one way or the other, he does have some ankle pivot, so you can get some A stance going on if you so please, but he'll start to he'll start to slide. So it's just, and then you can't quite get the knees lined up, and then the hips get all crazy. This is just, I don't feel like it's an issue with the Encore. I feel like it's just a design issue with the original overall. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, you come fight me, bro. I don't know. Don't come fight me. But, so, yeah, man, like, that's kind of the unfortunate side of this. Like, if you have the patience to sort of play around with the various, like, the knee swivels, and then up here in the hips that aren't ratcheted, you can kind of get it to work. It's not the best. It kind of sucks. But, you know, that's just the hand we're dealt. And finally, you see round peg, square peg. Well, here's the same round hole, square hole from Magnus in his robot mode. In theory, like, enough buttons are being pressed at this point where if you had the electronics in, you would get the the Super Saiyan Fusion Gogeta sounds out of the electronics. I don't know if that's really the sounds they went with, to be fair, but alright, now let's try to do the one last final thing and get this stupid thing in his hand. If you like this, if you think this sword is cool, like, more power to you. I'm not trying to take that away from you. Me, I just don't like it. Okay, I went too far up with the arm. So, arm down, it's just a bend at the elbow. So far, so good. He's actually holding his balance a lot more than the RID one that I had and got rid of long before they announced the Encore. As a kid, there's no way he would have held this pose. So, okay. And needless to say, just completely ignorant as far as, like, swords go. It's a little ridiculous, but it came with the toy, and I feel like this is how he should be posed and displayed. So we're actually going to move him back. And for the most part, he's going to grip this okay. It's not the best, but he's going to be fine. So, like, that's really, I think, like, that's all the energy I have to muster up about this. So, as far as comparisons go, there is his, like, bad guy counterpart, essentially. Not exactly. I mean, this is the BotCon Megatron, of course. But look at just the size difference. Like, that's insane. Maybe they should have, like, made somebody for this mold to combine with, perhaps. And they just never did. You know. But let me try to get him standing at least. Obviously, he did not have a rubber ducky in this show. Totally different Megatron. So, there's that. Come on now. Focus. Okay. So, there you have it. There's, like, my one comparison that is worth something, I guess. But yeah, that's it. So if you guys have any questions or comments about this, I know it was long. I apologize it was long. It was a lot to do. It was a lot to cover. It was kind of a lot to talk about. Like I said, I don't think mine has as many issues as some of the other ones. Maybe the everything that I can remember is like, you know, talking about the loose knees in the swivels and stuff like that. All of that I feel I had with my RID one. Granted, it wasn't, you know, brand new either. It had seen a lot of play. This one's straight out the box. Is it an excuse? No. And that's why Takara offered refunds for people who were not particularly happy with this particular Encore. Me, I'm good with it. I didn't pay full price for it. I would not recommend paying full price for it. But if you catch it on sale, discounted, whatever, by all means pick it up. You're not going to find a better looking Omega Prime, Godfire Convoy, whatever. You're just not. This is like color layout, paint, all that stuff is just second to none. If you want one of those old ones, it's all chromed out and kind of, I don't know, basic looking, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with chrome. Yes, mine does have a few issues, especially like in the silver paint up there. Silver Sharpie's going to fix that just fine. So, you know, again, it's totally up to you, whatever you decide to do. But hopefully this was a little informative to maybe show that it's not too terribly bad. Like, nothing's falling over, nothing's flopping around. He can stand on his own. He can hold this sword on his own. He's not... I don't think he's up against the back of this. Okay, yeah, he kind of is. So tell you what, just for the sake of clarity, I will, you know, move him forward a little bit. He's still good. So, anyways, that's like I said, that's it. He's got a ridiculous sword, and he's a lot taller than his biggest troublemaker. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.